Hey, what's up guys? Anthony, 4x4 Diesel. Just wanted to do a quick video that's going to help people that are both either planning to book in for a service with us or doing it themselves. Obviously, you know, not only in life, in business, we believe in being generous, kind and fair. So what we're going to do, we've done it before, there's no secrets here. We're going to put all the part numbers of the parts we use and what parts we use that are genuine, and a little bit of why and why not, and some other brands we use, so that you can make a decision what you want for your car, whether you pay a little bit less and you think it's okay also, or whether you want to stick with genuine parts. This way, look, if you're coming into us, that way you can go to a Toyota dealer and get all your genuine parts if you want genuine parts. It is hard for us to keep everything. We've got a lot of, it's just, you know, it's just me, one-man band, so, you know, we're limited to how much stock we can keep, sort of thing. So, and then some people might want the cheaper aftermarket option, some people want the genuine. So if you grab all the parts the way you want them, that way you've got the opportunity to get them on special, when they're on specials, half price, whatever the case may be, and choose whether you want aftermarket or genuine. So we're just going to run through a few things. The oil we use, now I'm not necessarily promoting brands or not, whatever. I'm not sponsored by Penrite or Ryco or Repco or, you know, whoever, genuine Toyota. I'm not, you know, it's just what we use, maybe a little bit of why we use it, and it's up to you what you want to do. So we're not promoting, or we're not saying these brands are good or bad. We think they're okay, that's why we use them. And so here we go. So the engine oil, we're currently using the Penrite. Now I think the best oil overall, if I had to choose one, we're talking about the grade here, I think the 1040. Now you can read the book and it'll say, oh look, the best oil is 530 or whatever, but you got to keep on reading. The best oil is for 530. I think it says something along the lines of for fuel economy or easy starting in cold weather, best for fuel economy. Anyway, whatever, you got to read on. Now if you look at the climate graph, you'll see that you can use 5, 10, 15, 20, whatever, they'll all be fine. These engines are awesome, they're tough engines, it's not going to matter which one you use, so you don't need to fuss around about it. A lot of people recommend 1540s or 1550s. I think if you're going to use one, you might as well go the extra 10 like we do here. Instead of 1030, it's 1040. I think, look, we're in Melbourne obviously, and across that line I think 1040 is a good option. If you've got a really new vehicle, it's not going to hurt to run 5 in it either, and if you're down in Tassie where it's a bit colder, or New Zealand, probably the 5's the go. There you go, New Zealand, got to mention. I note that you are the second, after Australia, second most, you know, highest watchers of my channel, so you get a mention, along with many others, but you are ranking second. You can use the 1550 if you're up north. You know, if you're in Darwin or something like that, you probably, look, when the car's new, you probably use the 10. Just see how it goes, it'll work fine. But if you're doing shorter stop-start trips, the 10 could be advantage while it's lower kilometers. But as they get higher Ks and you're running in that hot temperatures all the time, you may burn a bit of oil. Look, they don't burn oil, but as you get higher Ks, constantly highway speeds, you know, kind of no speed limit or 130, whatever it is, if you're pushing at that and doing hundreds of Ks, probably better to run 1550. Okay, so that's the oil. You don't have to use that brand. That's just what we use. So if you want to do your own, or you're bringing yours in for a service, feel free to bring your oil. Just let me know when you book it in, I'm bringing my parts, or I'm not bringing my parts, or whatever. So it's not complicated. Make sure we've got everything we need. We're reducing our stock of consumables, this sort of thing. You don't need to worry about bringing things like MAF sensor cleaner and whatever. If you're doing your own, we use the CRC brand, Mass Airflow Sensor Cleaner. You can use whatever brand you like. That's the one we like. It's probably the same as the cheap sort of contact circuit board cleaner. I'll put it out there. There you go. There's the Motortech brand from Repco, contact circuit board. It's probably the same as that, but for the cost of a MAF sensor, I'm not going to be the guy that re-engineers it and how to clean it. I'll just pay the money and get the CRC stuff. It cleans quite a few MAF sensors if you use it carefully. All right, we'll get on to that though. So we're meant to be talking about oil. I think we've got oil covered. In the 1KD FTV, you need about 7 litres. We use a 5 litre transfer container. 4 plus 3 equals 7. And then you can check it. The way to check the oil level is when the engine is warm, so not cold, not hot, just warm, on level ground, you switch it off. 5 minutes after you switch it off, go and check the oil level. Should be between the marks We aim to get it towards the top mark, which is why we quote about 7 should get you there, but all depends what oil you're using, how thick it was when you drained it, what level it's on when you jacked it up, blah, blah, blah. So double check your oil level. Better to put a bit less and then check later, you know, because if you didn't get it all out, it could be, it could end up a little bit too much. But I'd say 7, you're pretty safe. If you're not sure, you can go 6.8, 6.9 and then check it. So that's oil. Oil filter, what do we use? We use the genuines at the moment, and you can go on eBay, LSI International, whatever. I reckon I need a commission on this one. You can buy a 10 pack. I've been telling people this for a long time now. Got a lot of people onto them. 10 pack of genuine filters, and there's not just myself, other people have checked that they are genuine. A 10 pack for $92, okay? So careful where you get your genuine parts from. We buy a lot of stuff locally. We spend a lot of money at our local Toyota dealers, making sure we do get genuine stuff. You can buy some stuff, some places overseas. Just be careful with warranties and all that sort of stuff. And when you do have problems, it can be hard to get service. So if you need something, we can supply. You know, the bigger parts like the injector kits and that, as you know, the timing belt kits, the wheel bearing kits, we do supply those. All this small, that's hard for you to get, I suppose, at the right price. Not always. But anyway, getting on with it. Oil filter, genuine. There it is, the part number over there, towards the back of the picture, 90915-YZZD2. A Toyota dealer referred to as a D2. I need a D2 oil filter, please. Right, no worries, Prado. Yep, whatever, bang. Retail about $20, right? So if you want to do that, or if you want to go eBay, $92 delivered to your door. There you go, which is $9.20, and you don't have to leave the house. So Australian businesses putting themselves out of business with the prices they're trying to extract out of us. But anyway, that's fair enough. We got to make money, right? The owners have got to have nice cars, holidays, helicopters, planes, and whatever. Anyway, okay, next, air filter. So towards the front here, I'm not sure if you can see the part number. This is the genuine air filter box. That's the air filter we like. We've mentioned about why more in other videos. 17801-30080. We just buy those locally. A lot of dealerships are going to ask you for about $60. You might get it down towards 50 or something like that. Can't say too much, of course, but you know, trying to be reasonable. You should get a bit of a discount, see how you go. So that's your air filter. We might as well talk about cabin filters while we're at it. And in our opinion, a cabin filter is a lot less important. It's not your engine, it's just the air you're breathing. Generally, these aftermarket ones we see, they do seal well, they don't leak. They filter the air flows, they work perfectly well. And instead of spending $60 on a cabin air filter, well, yeah, it's around about that. I haven't bought one for years, but that's what it was and what I hear they are. So I doubt that it's changed. So look, in the 120 Prados, this is one of the filters we use. Repco brand, again, not promoting Repco. I think it's made by Fuel Miser. There's also the Fuel Miser brand from Repco, about the same price. RCF 508. You know, it's one of those things, you just wait till they're on special. They got their half price thing and you get in there and grab one of those. For whatever reason, we use different brands. Depends what they're offering at the time, what they got in stock. You know, we usually get a few at a time. It could be we're grabbing 10 at a time or whatever the case may be for the workshop. So the WACF 0040 is what we use in the 150 Prado. Once again, you can get decent ones off eBay as long as you get the right ones. This is the problem, listing problems, and you end up wrong parts and stuff like that. It happens, trust me, I hear about it. So make sure you're getting the right parts. There's one seller, I think it's buy 3 get 1 free, and they're about $43 delivered. So effectively for a bit over $10, you're getting 40 a door. There's no point paying me a bit more, or you know, genuine parts a lot more for your cabin filters. We're not talking about how often and whatever. We're talking about that's the parts we use. Okay, so that's your 2 cabin filters. Say it again, WACF 0040. Okay, that's your filtration, your air and your cabin filters. Moving on to fuel filters. So on the 150 Prado, the one at the back there, you should be able to see it over here. This is the one that goes under the bonnet. We'll just quickly touch on the 2 under bonnet fuel filters for the 150 and 120 Prados. There's no set service schedule. It's, you know, there's a pressure sensor when the light comes on. We think it's a better idea to change it every 40,000 Ks. That's what we've come up with. We're not going to go into why at the moment. This is just what we're using. This one, 23390-30350 is for the 150 Prado. The one next door, 23390-30180 is for the 120 Prado. The 120 Prado happens to be a bit cheaper. possibly because they're a bit older, so we need to make those a bit cheaper. Possibly, just give me a sec, cup of tea's getting cold. The 180s, look, they're reverse engineered by filter companies, and a lot of companies like Ryco will supply the same filter for the 120 and the 150. That's a Z699, which I don't recommend using because the base last time I used it, and it was the wrong size for at least 5 years. Number of times I informed them of that, and you know, nothing changed. It's about 2 millimeters small, and a little guard on the bottom falls off. So that's one reason why we use genuine. The other reason is we like the quality of the filters. But I'd suggest the 180 is probably the same, just a different number, but I can't be sure of that, so I'm not going to say that. They're your fuel filters for the 120 and the 150 covered. Now the fuel filter for the Hilux, let's get that out. For the Hilux guys, right, there it is. That's just an element. You're going to pay 35, 40 bucks from your local dealer. Same deal, no set schedule. I recommend, it's that cheap, you might as well just do it every service or two, every 10 or 20,000. Some people do it every 10, whatever. Look, you know, 23390 OLO50, right? So that's your Hilux fuel filter element. So that's pretty well covered all our fuel filters on the 1KDs for the Hiluxes and Prados. Now, if you're going to be doing a service we won't go through the schedule at the moment. We'll do the brake fluid, okay? So don't worry about what brands we're using or not or whatever. They recommend you use DOT3 fluid, so you should probably do that. Every 40,000 Ks is when the brake fluid's supposed to be changed or replaced. You know, to do it properly, it's either suck it out or bleed it through, the whole lot, you know, drain, you know, and refill it with new stuff, because brake fluid is hygroscopic. What that means is it absorbs moisture. So it absorbs moisture slowly over time, and you know the boiling point of water is, you know, 100 degrees. Brake fluid, when it starts off new, depending what brands and whatever, but let's just put it out there, about 260, 280 or so, more or less, whatever. But the point is, over time, that reduces as it becomes water, to put it simple, right? So water obviously boils a lot sooner, hot brakes, the heat transfer through the calipers to the brake lines, the fluid boils, and that's why we've got spongy brakes. And that's why when you put new brake fluid, when you replace it, sometimes you'll notice a better pedal. New stuff is better, cleaner, less moisture, whatever, it just works better. So brake fluids every 40,000 Ks, don't miss that. Now, if you're doing it yourself, make sure you know what you're doing, because remember, when it comes to brakes, it is a matter of life or death. Maybe not just you, it could be, you know, your family or other people and their families, right? So it affects other people. So if you don't know what you're doing with brakes, I'm not going to talk about brakes too much. We might do another video how to do brakes and brake fluid changes. We'll get to that, but we're going to be careful how we do it, simply because it's really dangerous, right, guys? So it's like, you know, you really need to check your wheel nuts with a torque wrench. But anyway, getting off topic. Brake fluid, there it is, DOT3. You're going to need at least a litre, so I prefer sealed bottles, new sealed bottles, so we don't buy it in bulk. We used to do that when we did a lot more brakes, but it's better off to have it in sealed bottles, so we use just 500ml bottles, and we'll budget 1 to 1.5 litres per brake fluid flush. So that covers your brake fluid, and then you've got a few other little things. So if you're doing your diff oils, we're not going to put the diff oils in the picture. We use the Penrite range of diff oils. You know, it doesn't mean you've got to do that. The easiest way is obviously to get yourself a 20-litre drum and a pump, and then you can just pump it in. It's a lot easier. As we've mentioned before, when you change your front diff, it's quite often a problem with that drain plug on the front diff being over tightened and therefore hard to get out. And kaon.com.au or Kaon 4x4 on eBay came up with that other diff plug, which everyone else is going to copy. But you know what? Support the Aussies, mate. Awesome company, good people. They deserve it. They're the ones that design all the good stuff, so that's who we support. If you buy their quality, you're only going to buy it once, not some Chinese copy that's probably softer, and you know, if someone over tightens it, maybe it's going to get damaged anyway. So stick with the quality. And they supply genuine gaskets with theirs. There's the genuine gaskets for the front diff drain plug. I'm going to put that one out there because that's the important one. You don't necessarily have to change it every time, but you're going to need to change it every now and then. Have a look at it. If you've had an oil leak, it's going to be black where the oil's leaking. If it looks nice and copper and clean all the way around and you've got a good plug, then you may be able to keep reusing it. I'm one to reuse plugs if there's nothing wrong with them, because I don't see leaks. I've never had a problem doing that, and we're going to cut whoever out of selling us a washer, right? So 9043024003 for those front diff drain plug copper gaskets. We've also got the genuine sump plug washer for the engine in the picture there. They're like I'm not sure, there's some sort of alloy with a blue sort of material, I don't know what you call it, fibre thing over the top of it. Again, you can if you use those torque to spec about 34, 35 newton meters, you can reuse those quite a few times as well. But you might want to have one on hand in case yours has been over tightened or looks a bit dodgy, or you drop it, lose it in your oil or whatever. You can, instead of digging it out, you just use a new one. Right guys, so that pretty well covers all your service items. So look, if you're going to book in with us for a service or whatever, feel free to go ahead and buy, you can, when you book in, you can ask me, okay, on that service, what parts is it? And I can say, these are the parts. And maybe we'll do another video running through what parts you need on each service, or I might just do that now. So for those that are still with us, awesome. So you're obviously going to need oil every service, right? Oil every service. You're going to need an oil filter every 10,000. You're going to need this. We didn't talk about this one yet, actually. So we did miss something, fuel filters. So only on the 120 and 150 Prado 1KDs is the rear fuel filter up above the tail shaft. We've got videos on that, obviously, how to change that. The genuine one comes with a bracket. I'll just go and grab one so you can see what it looks like. Okay, so this is what the filter looks like, okay? And that's the bracket. Now the aftermarket ones, they don't come with a bracket. So basically, if you've got the bracket facing you this way, this bolt might be a bit too tight actually for this to work out. But basically, if you're not sure and you haven't done one before, this will be a handy video. So just hold it like that and the bracket like that, put that through there, tuck it around basically, and that slot there goes in there. So that's your orientation of it. Right, so there's a handy video. We could probably do a separate video just on that, but that is your rear fuel filter. Okay, so sit that down there. Every 20,000 on the Prados, right? Every 20,000 k's has got to be changed. And I've said it before, I recommend you carry spare air, cabin, and both fuel filters on big trips, outback trips and that. So yeah, if you go to book in with us, you can give me a call. I'll let you know what parts you need to grab, and you can go, you go to Repco or Burson's and whatever you want and get some art. Look, you can use a Ryco filter if you want. You can use Ryco filters if you want. I'll install, if you want to be cheap, I'll install that if you want, obviously. Then you just got to pay labour. Obviously the warranty's with you, we didn't provide that. There's not going to be anything wrong. I'm just saying, don't be one of those kind of, no warranty. It's not that. It's just, I didn't source it. I'm going to stay out of the parts side of it. You supply the parts. Bingo, that's where they are right there. But in fairness, we also do this, so it's a benefit to you all, and you can buy your own parts, do your own service, happy days, right? So, but the warning is, like always, make sure you know what you're doing. Don't forget things, don't leave things loose. And like I said, with your diff oils, 20 litre drums with pumps, between those oils and everything in that picture there, that's all the general things you need to do, all the normal services on your Prados. I'll just go quickly through. So that's what I was doing. So oil and filter every 10,000. This fuel filter every 20,000, right? Z780, right? Okay, we'll go through the prices. Genuine ones are about $100. These for a long time at Repco were about over $100 retail, so don't go there. I think they did drop them recently. I'm not sure what happened there. But super cheap have them for about 40, 44 bucks. I think the price changed. I think they're 40, but when they're going to have 20% off, I think they're 44. At least that's what I've seen. I've seen them at 40, and then they go, oh, we're going to have 20% off. And I'm in there the day before, and they're 44. I go, well, I thought they were 40. And then they have their 20% off, and you go in there, and it's 20% off, of course, so they're 36 or whatever it might be. You go in there another time, and they're $39.99 again. So, look, you figure out what's going on there. It might have been just a one-off mistake thing, or not a mistake, whatever. Fuel filter, okay, so the other two fuel filters, these two, under bonnet every 40,000, brake fluid every 40,000, diff oils every 40,000. You might want to do your transfer case every 40,000. Air filters and cabin filters are meant to be cleaned each service, or they're cleaned. Replace these three every 30,000 Ks, but I'd suggest as necessary. If you do off-road, dust and dirt, you're going to be changing these more often. You'll be doing every 5 or 10,000 Ks, Sometimes with these, if they're fairly new and clean, it's just dust, you can blow them off and reuse them. Some people get into washing them and all that. Not sure too well how that works out. I reckon if you can get them for 10 or 15 bucks off eBay, you can afford to throw one at it even every 6 months, right? Not a big cost compared to your Prado. So remember, quality vehicle, made in Japan. It doesn't cost that much more to use genuine parts anyway. But if you are going through a lot of filters, like cabin air filters and that's where I think it's worthwhile getting a cheap one. And like I said, this at 30 or 40 bucks is a lot better than genuine for 100. It's not your last line of defense. You've got your genuine filter at the front, which is why we like using, like we said, we like the quality. Generally you can't beat genuine quality parts, especially with quality brands. Alright guys, so there's a whole heap of information for you. If you haven't subscribed, remember to subscribe so you don't miss out on the next video. Have your notifications on and give us a thumbs up if you love it. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Have a nice day. See ya.